And now finally we get to putting it all together in Premiere. You're not going to need any audio. You're just going to need the images as an image sequence. So we're just going to open up Premiere Pro. If you do not have Premiere Pro, yeah, you're probably going to need something that you can put together an image sequence. Adobe's software is not that expensive for students. It's $19.99 a month. But that's the whole Adobe Creative Suite. That's every single thing that they offer. I know that's a lot for a student, but it'll get you through the program. If not, the computers are available in the computer labs on campus and Digital Technology Building, room 109. There's PCs and Macs in there, and they all have all the software you're going to need. So once you open up Premiere Pro, hit New Project, and you can call it Space Vehicle. How about that? Vehicle Turntable. And then you're going to navigate over to your folder, your project folder for your 3D model. I like to keep everything together. Here's my project folder for my model. I usually create a Premiere folder in there. This one's already created because I've already been doing demos for you guys. So here is the Premiere folder, and inside there is where everything's going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and select that folder. You won't have a Premiere folder initially. I had to create that, so just create a new folder and call it Premiere. So now that that's set up, I'm going to hit OK. You don't have to change anything else. And after some time, you'll see Premiere is going to load up. And just do as I do. I'm not really going to teach you everything that Premiere does. But here is where you're going to import all your files. Here is where your source clip and your effect controls are going to be. Here is your program monitor, which is where all of your edits are going to be previewed. And your timeline is over here. And your tools are right here in the middle. I'm going to make this very basic so you don't have to really know what most of these things do. The easiest thing to do is to make sure that your project tab is selected and just double click in this empty space where it says Import Media to start. And that'll open up your import window, and just go ahead and navigate to that images folder where all of your JPEGs were saved. I'm actually going to stay right here, vehicle 1, vehicle.001, all the way down to vehicle.210. And you can see, actually, if you kind of play through it, you can see it's kind of rotating there as you scroll through. So that just means the image sequence worked. So I'm just going to click on the first one. Don't click on all of them. Just click on the first one. And there's a little check box down here called Image Sequence. Check that. Just the first one. An image sequence. Hit Open. Now, some of you are going to run into an issue. Well, hopefully it won't happen. But if you do run into the issue where it only uploads a part of the video, right now it should be about 7 seconds based on the settings that I told you. If you don't have 7 seconds, you're going to have to painstakingly go through every single file name to make sure that the numbers don't skip any sequential numbers. So you make sure it doesn't go to like 56 to 58 and you missed 57, because you will have to rename all of them, or you're going to have to somehow create a 57. So if you do run into that issue, you want to sit there and make sure that all the file names are correct and all of the numbers are sequential without skipping any, or else you run into gaps or it'll actually stop before 7 seconds. It might stop at 2 seconds. You're like, well, where's the rest of it? You have to check those numbers. So you can actually just slide over and see a preview of it, and then just drag it over to the right onto the timeline. When you let go, it'll create a new sequence with your project turntable as a JPEG sequence, and there it is. Look how wonderful. I actually textured this a little bit. It doesn't look fantastic, but it probably looks a little bit better than yours. Don't worry about it. I didn't ask you to texture it. That's what the next project's for. So this is all you really needed to do. Just import the image sequence. Make sure that it actually works all the way around. And if it does, you're ready to export. So you go up to File, Export, Media. I'm hoping that you can see all of this because my screen is a lot bigger than the window that I'm recording, because it helps with the RAM issue, like a lag issue. So you should be able to see export media on your screen. When I click on it, it's going to bring up a dialog box. And this thing I can resize so you can see all of it. Come on. Alright, so now you can see all of it. So the first thing you want to do is to change the format on the right hand side from AVI, which is the default, to H.264. You click on that, you'll actually see the black bars on the top and bottom disappear over here because it actually follows the original source attributes pretty closely, the settings. So if you don't see H.264, you might have to go and download and install Adobe QuickTime. It's free, and if you do that, then you should have access to H.264. I think it just comes standard with Premiere now. After that, keep everything the same except for output name. Click on the blue name and call it whatever you're going to want. I'll just call it vehicle turntable. And it actually is going to export as an MP4 file. So you'll be able to take this project that you're so proud of and put it on your Apple device or your Android device. It's a native format for mobile platforms, and you'll be able to throw it on there without having to convert it to anything. You'll be able to show all your friends and family how awesome it is. So just hit save. So everything looks good. You can uncheck export audio. There isn't any audio there. Everything else just keep the way it is and just hit export. And since you set the project folder initially, and there it goes, it's pretty quick. Since you set the project folder initially, then you can actually, I'll just move this out of the way and bring this down. I'll go up and go into the Premiere folder, and there it is. Since you already set the project, it's there. This vehicle turntable is what you're going to submit to the Dropbox. I also want you to zip your whole project folder and send it to me, but before you do that, go into your images and get rid of them. I don't care if you just duplicate your project folder and then delete the images, then zip it. This is going to really make the project folder huge. So get rid of all those extra images. All I want is your scene files, the rest of the project folder. I don't need all your rendered images. I do want the movie though, so you can throw movies. You can leave the Premiere thing in there if you want to. These are all the things that I did for your demo so far. So that's it. So go to D2L and upload when it's time to upload your project. And then we'll go on to texture mapping and UV mapping.